Representative Braley, thank you so much for talking with us.
You're welcome.
First of all, it's Veterans Day, as you know, here at the State Fair. What was that like for you to be here on this day, considering your father was in the Marines and was on Iwo Jima?
Well, it was very emotional to see all of those Iowa veterans roll down this concourse. And for me, you know, the part that was really emotional is when they were reenacting the flag raising at Iwo Jima. I was there this spring with 12 World War II veterans who had served on Iwo Jima with my dad. And it was one of the highlights of my life, getting to spend time with these amazing men who had sacrificed so much, and 67 years later were able to talk about what that experience meant to them and how it impacted their lives. And I felt like I was taking a piece of my dad with me. I actually took the flag that draped his casket to the top of Mount Suribachi.
Oh, wow.
And that was my way of remembering him in the midst of these amazing people who were there with him.
Wow. I can't imagine what a life-changing moment that must have been to kind of connect the dots on all those stories he probably had told you, huh?
That's exactly right. You know, like most World War II veterans, my dad never really talked much about the really bad things that he saw. I've been able to piece some of that together since he died, but it was such an emotional experience for me to be with that band of brothers who were there with him, and it's an experience I'll never forget.
Tell me a little bit, let's switch gears here and talk about the State Fair. Now, you grew up in Brooklyn, correct?
I did.
When did you first start making your trip over to the fair? How old were you?
Oh, I'm sure that I made my first trip to the fair before I was 5 years old. The fair was a big deal to my dad and to my mom, and I remember so well, you know, my dad's favorite ride was the old mill. I think there was just something soothing and comforting about being in there in the dark with the cool water running by. But
did you show prize pigs or anything like that?
No, I grew up in a town, and my dad ran a grain elevator. I spent a lot of time working on farms, but I never had a chance to show livestock here, which would have been a great experience.
What was it like for you? Think back to when you were a little kid coming to the fair versus now when you come to the fair.
Yeah.
How has the experience changed for you? What did you appreciate then versus what you appreciate now?
Well, when you grow up in a small town in Iowa, coming to the State Fair is just like Christmas in August. All the sights, all the sounds, all the food. And I remember one of my most remarkable experiences when my dad took me on the double Ferris wheel for the first time. It was scary, it was exciting, it was so much to see up there of the whole fairgrounds that really captured to me the magic that is the Iowa State Fair.
And then as you got older, it was more about the nightlife and the concerts, I'm guessing.
Absolutely.
You were saying you've seen some great concerts here.
I did. I saw the Beach Boys play here at the fair. I saw the Eagles, the Doobie Brothers, a lot of great bands from the mid-'70s. And then one of the other big deals was when I was able to bring my kids to the fair for the first time and sort of bring that continuity of family life in Iowa full circle.
What was it like to see, from your parents' perspective, what it was like for them to show you all this, then you got to show your kids all this? Very different, wasn't it? Wasn't it a different kind of fun for you, wasn't it?
It was a different kind of fun because when you're a parent at the fair with young kids, managing your kids is the #1 priority. There's so many things to distract them and get them moving off in one direction or another. But it's also just a great slice of life in Iowa, which is why millions of people come here year after year.
What is it about the State Fair? Have you been able to put a finger on, you know, we've talked to some other folks today about, well, I like the fact that there's something new, and other people are like, I like the fact that it never changes. What is it about the Iowa State Fair?
I think it's a combination of those things. It's things that are familiar, that remind us of our agricultural roots, and yet you see lots of people from the Des Moines metro area who come to the fair every year and embrace our past while still getting to go into the Varied Industries building and other parts of the fair and see new and exciting technology. I was just in a welding booth using a computer simulator that teaches people how to weld, which is one of the highest demand careers we have in Iowa. That was something nobody would have thought of when I was a kid coming to the fair, but it's a very practical way of how the fair provides opportunities for people to see the future as well as remember the past.
And that shows you can still be surprised when you come to the fair, even after all these years.
That's why they call it the surprising place, I think.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Representative. You know, one last question. Favorite food on a stick? Put you on the spot here.
There are so many to choose from, it's tough, but I love bratwurst and I love corn, and when I was introduced to the corn brat, I thought I was in heaven.
Corn brat. Yeah. All right, we got you on the record.
Thank you very much.